We're going to talk about how to plan for a successful 2020. I'm going to walk you through how to plan. I'm going to break it down for you. I'll be honest, there are several factors that made my business successful. Okay, there are. So I can't dedicate it to just one thing. Okay, but I will tell you that many of you have been following me for a while. You know that goal planning is one of them. Okay, absolutely, by far. And it's not that I just goal plan for the year, by the way. I do indeed plan out the entire year. I excuse me. I also, take my strategies that I want to work on and I work on them daily. I break it down and I'll go through that with you today. You'll see. So it's involved, goal planning is involved in my everyday life. And without it, I don't have a clear direction. If you guys don't have a clear direction, then what are you working on, right? And a lot of times you may be like, well, no, I know what I'm working on. I have to make more money. I have to work on my SEO, etc. And while that's fine, if there's not a super focus, you might be wasting a lot of time. You may not be as productive as you can be. And that's no good, right? Time is money, guys. I know that as solo entrepreneurs, some of us may have hired people that work with us, and that's great. But, our time is fairly limited. So I highly recommend getting into goal planning because without it, it seems I would be lost. I can't begin to tell you. I'll tell you more actually in a little bit, especially how I plan each and every one of my days, because when I do it properly, it doesn't take that much energy out of me after I do the whole year first. Then I set myself up for success for the day. And I know it sounds really, cliche, but it really is the truth. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. Okay, so let's get started. Let me go through a few things before we get started on goal planning, because I want to get right into it, okay? First, and I'll talk about it later, the Mastermind Strategy exclusive coaching program is open for enrollment next week. FYI, it will be the last time for the year it's opened for 2020. It'll be opened for 4 days, okay? So next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That is it, period. You cannot enter it later, okay? And I'll talk to you more about that, but it's an exclusive coaching program, starts with the Mastering Your Goals course, and then also has a private Facebook community that is a group coaching community, okay? Has exclusive trainings in there, weekly check-ins. We're going to be doing critique Facebook Lives. It's amazing. It's packed full of information. It's amazing. We'll get to that in a moment, okay? I'll also be going over when I do goal planning with you today, I'll be also going over how I do it within my planner, as well as how I use Trello. Trello's for free, by the way. You can sign up for a free account. A lot of free features on Trello, Trello.com. And I'll walk you through that. But if you want to get your own mastermind planner, I put the link above. Give me a moment and I'll walk you through it, okay? And last but certainly not least, I finally got my act together. No, that sounds weird. But I struggled with figuring out how to notify you guys when I come on Facebook Live. Yes, I come on the same time every week, Tuesday at 9 a.m. Central, but somehow people still need reminders. I get it, we're busy. So you don't have to do it right now. I don't want you leaving the Facebook Live, but if you click the link above, it will lead you to my messenger for my Facebook page, The Handmade Mastermind. And if you've never chatted with me on there, just hit get started. And then you'll see it says to reply the word mastermind. Don't reply anything else besides that. Just write mastermind. The second you do, that code will trigger you to sign up for alerts when I go on Facebook Live. Okay. So just click that link above, then reply mastermind. I will remind you guys later in the Facebook Live, okay, to do so. And that's it. And so every time I go on Facebook Live, I just send you guys a message letting you know, hey, I'm coming on, okay? So if you guys were part of that message, I already rolled those out, that notification type thing out to some of my other private groups. If you received the message, let me know down below in the comments. I'm sure it's working fine. Okay, so oh, well, Susan just said she got her notice. Awesome. All right, so I want to get started. So, goal planning. By the way, when we do this goal planning, you could do this for the entire year, but if you're new to goal planning, I recommend doing it for 6 months, maybe even less for 3 months. Don't feel overwhelmed. There's no official rules here, okay? This is what I'm teaching you based on what I've been doing for so long, and that has really helped me. Again, you could tweak this and make it your own. That's okay. And feel free to ask questions down below. So let's get started with step number 1. Shall we? Yes, we shall. Step number 1, guys, is brainstorming. Now, this is the moment where you can just say, okay, nobody's watching me. Nothing's written on, nothing's written in stone. You're just sitting there with a scrap piece of paper, literally, okay? And just doodle what you want to work on, and so you're brainstorming. And so it's simple as, imagine I'm Sally, or, imaginary character named Sally. She's a seller. So imagine Sally is like, okay, let me brainstorm. I would really like to work on my SEO. I keep hearing it's a thing I have to do. I know mine is not good. I want to get started on my email list. Again, you're just brainstorming. You're brainstorming the things that you feel like you need to work on. Here's a little bit more direction for you guys. If you're like, I don't even know where to begin to brainstorm, which is probably not the case. Most people know what to give or take write down. You have to say to yourself, where's my business right now? Meaning, where do you sell online? What do you have accomplished already in terms of strategies? And then what makes the most sense to be the next steps? Let me explain. You don't start an Etsy shop, a few months ago and then say, I need to work on, and so they started Etsy shop 6 months ago. You have 10 products, you don't say, oh, I need to work on a Pinterest strategy. Here's why that doesn't make sense. You can still write it down because the brainstorming is just that, where it's not set in stone. We can eventually cross things out later, which I teach you how to do in a little bit. But ideally, that wouldn't make the sense as the next steps, okay? Tell me in the comments below, guys. This is a good, interactive type of training. If Sally just opened her shop 6 months ago or so, and she has 10 products in her shop, okay, what would make sense? And you don't know much about her besides that, okay? But so what would make the most sense as the next steps she would be working on? What would her brainstorming paper be? What would she be writing down? Let me know in the comments, okay? So I want to make sure that we understand. But again, brainstorming is just that. Sally could still go to town on it and write a whole bunch of stuff, because later we're going to eliminate the overwhelm, because the reality is we're all very similar, all of us, in that we have creative minds. We want to work on everything. We get frustrated that we can't work on everything, and so we need to cross things out, because then you feel like a failure that you can't work on everything. Again, we'll get to that in a few steps. So let me know down below what you think Sally should be working on next. What would her brainstorming worksheet look like? And again, there's no wrong answers here, by the way. No wrong answers, because again, it's a brainstorming worksheet. You can do whatever you want on this, but this will help guide you to understand, okay, like you guys are smart. Sometimes it's easier to help somebody else than help yourself. So think outside the box for Sally. What would she be writing down? Okay. So, excuse me. Yes, Christy says adding more product SEO. Now, by the way, I just want to mention something is for people that might be thinking, well, you could sell $1 million with just 10 products. Yes, the answer is yes. However, there's a few other determining factors that will lead you to success if that's the case. One, very high in demand product, low saturation, clever marketing skills. I mean, there's a lot of other things that will make that happen. If your product tends to go viral, you can't count on that because that tends to happen on its own. But in general, what you can control, okay? So yes, adding more products, diversity and depth. So if Sally sells mugs, okay, and she sells mugs with cute dogs on it, then it's important that Sally not only just give you a variety of different types of mugs, but other different types of beverage holders, okay? So whatever this is, a travel mug, a tumbler, or whatever. And then even within that category, different types, ones that target teachers, because teachers love to carry the travel mugs, ones that for your boss, for boss gifts. And so when you're adding more products, right, as a brainstorming factor, you should know there's two different ways to really expand product line, okay? Susan says more product SEO and pictures. So Susan booked up a really good point. We talk about in the Mastermind strategy in the Mastering Your Goals course that there's 3 foundational goals, okay, that you should really consider if you don't already have them mastered. I put mastered in quotes because nobody's ever really perfect at anything, right? But SEO, pictures, and product. If you don't have those down packed, they have to be on your goal list. So, spoiler alert right there. And so Susan says that, and of course, depending on Sally's situation, does she have her SEO together? And if you're out there thinking, I don't know if I do, if you don't know if you do, you probably need the help, okay? If you don't understand how SEO works, you kind of winged it and you're kind of getting sales and you're kind of getting traffic, but you don't know how you're doing so. You don't know how you properly optimize your listings. It's important not to let luck lead you. It's important to understand why, so you can control it. It's important to have your life in control as opposed to saying, I'm posting new listings and I don't quite know how I, did the SEO to it, but it may be working because it's been working in the past. You don't want to leave it to luck, okay? And then of course, photos. A lot of times, it's pretty fairly simple to tell if your photos need work. The little key thing I've told members before is that if Oprah Magazine approached you and wanted to feature your products, is your photos Oprah Magazine ready, okay? Or use any type of example like that to help you. And if you still don't know because you're like thinking you're a hot shot with your photos, then ask friends and family, ask the group, post your photo in the group, obviously without shop links or anything like that, and say, hey, give me a critique. Do I need to improve my photos? Black and white, just tell me yes or no, or what is wrong with it, whatever, right? So people understand what Sally needs to add on her brainstorming checklist. So you guys have to do the same thing, okay? You brainstorm. This is a time where you could do it in several days. You could say, oh, that's what I want to do. A fun activity I like to do is I ask myself, wouldn't it be awesome if I could get traffic via Instagram? Wouldn't it be cool if my email list performed 10 times even better than it does now? So saying that helps you brainstorm. So that's another cool, fun way to brainstorm. Okay, guys? A lot of great responses here, by the way. Great. Yes, everybody understands. Yes, love it. I love that, Laura. Laura mentions a really good point that isn't often talked about, making sure that she's determining her profit margins properly. That's a really good education-based thing. I love that. Yep, and Abby says something similar, like expanding product line, ensure that she has her ideal customer thought out, obviously before you start expanding. I love that. Okay, so really great responses here, guys. You guys get brainstorming pretty easy, right? Pretty straightforward. And again, if you needed the help, I gave you several different things to think about to help you brainstorm. Now that we have brainstorming down packed, guys, this is step 1. You have a piece of paper, no fancy worksheet necessary, piece of paper, and you just wrote a whole bunch of stuff, okay? Number 2. Hey, I'm hopping on here really quick to tell you, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, where I often share helpful advice, tips, tricks, motivation for a successful business. Okay, so make sure you go to Instagram, go to The Handmade Mastermind, click follow. I'll see you there. This is really important, as most people forget to do this. And what happens if you forget to do this is that later down the road, right, you'll be like, Dahlia told me so. Yes, it's true. You need to think about your personal goals. So step 2 is personal goals. Let's really dive deep into what that means. So I'm going to share with you some of my personal goals that was not too long ago. I'm still working on my personal goals for 2020, as I have accomplished a lot of things personally, and that there's nothing that really just stands out to me that I want to do just yet. So I'm just leaving it alone at the moment. But previous personal goals for me were to pay off my home. For those of you who follow me for a long time know that's already done. That's been done like 2 years ago. Paid off my car. That's been done shortly after I paid off the home. Those are the biggest things I remember. Another one was to build out our patio. That was done, I think it was last year. So things you want to do personally. Some things I often see with members is to pay for their kids to go to private school, to also put a down payment on a home or pay off a home, pay off student loans. So things you want to accomplish personally. And that doesn't mean it's based on the money you make on your business. Just remember, another few examples is I want, oh, let me take off my, when we don't mind a cha-ching, right? But let me just put my phone on silent. Okay, perfect. So sometimes your personal goals don't have to revolve around money per se. So for example, your personal goals may be, Dahlia, I really would like a 3-day weekend. I don't want to keep working 5 days a week. That's an example. And by the way, guys, comment down below if you're comfortable sharing it. What are your personal goals? Again, not set in stone at the moment, right? You could change this. It's not a big deal, but what do you believe your personal goals are? Some people might be like, I want to get healthy and fit. That's a personal goal of yours. A personal goal of yours might be, I want to make sure that I join the PTA for my kid's school. It could be anything. It could be anything. Another thing might be that you no longer, you want to retire at 40. I don't know. I don't know. So you think about what your personal goals are and you write them down. And then again, I like to do a fun exercise that helps me really focus on what's the most important to me. Because these personal goals, by the way, when you write them down, and we'll talk about how this plays a role in goal planning, you'll find out which ones are the most important to you. Because what are the driving factors? Do you really care about having that 3-day weekend? Because if you do, we're going to help shape your business to fit that. Okay. And so the really cool way to help you figure out what are most important personal goals is to say, again, wouldn't it be cool if I had a 3-day weekend? Wouldn't it be cool if I retired at 40? Wouldn't it be cool if I don't have to wake up early in the mornings? Whatever those are, write them down, okay? In fact, in the Mastermind Planner, which again, I will go over shortly, I have a section for brainstorming, okay? And you'll see right here, okay? And so you'll see that this is for personal, this is for business. You could do however you want. But it writes right here, wouldn't it be cool if, you barely see it on the screen, this is, wouldn't it be cool if, and then next to it, there's a line where you could write numbers. And after you write down and brainstorm the whole, wouldn't it be cool if I have a 3-day weekend? Wouldn't it be cool if I had $1 million in my bank account? Wouldn't it be cool if, whatever personal goals you have, you can then number the importance. Pick your own random number system. 1 being super, super duper important to you, like you can feel it in your gut, and 5 being, right? Because after you do that, after you kind of understand where each of your personal goals fall because you brainstorm them, you could say the ones that have 1 and 2s, for example, are the ones you're going to go after. Let those be your final personal goals, okay? And again, this is just in the Mastermind Planner. You could do it on a piece of paper. I don't care, okay? You write your final personal goals. I really want you to write down your final personal goals, the ones you'll be focusing on, okay? Because I told you, we're going to work on how you shape your business based on these personal goals. By the way, personal goals are not always meant to be accomplished by the end of the year. Okay. If I want to retire when I'm 40, I'm not turning 40 at the end of the year. Fun fact. So it doesn't mean that I have to do by the end of the year. You may have a personal goal that you want to take 3 vacations in the year. And yes, you may be able to accomplish that before the end of the year, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have to. And I want you to strive for the best, but just know that my recommendation when I do personal goals, I don't necessarily have them planned to be accomplished by the end of the year. When I do business goals, I only plan for 2020. So a lot of times I might be writing down personal goals that I do want to accomplish by the end of the year. And then some I do that are like, no, this is just something I'm always looking forward to doing. Okay. So let me know down below, what are some of your personal goals? Only if you feel comfortable sharing them. Okay. So Susan writes, paying off house, redoing pool, decking, and landscape in the backyard. A lot of work, right? A lot requires some money. And so this is interesting because this obviously, for the most part, directly relates to revenue, in which businesses can help you achieve your personal goals. Okay, a lot of my personal goals in the past were money related. And so my business obviously helped with that. What are your personal goals? Think about it, write it down. Okay. And then again, if you want to really help focus on the ones that you really mean the most to you, then number them and eliminate the ones that you didn't put high in your priority list. Okay, because now in the next step, or the next two steps, we're going to go over how those play a role. Okay. Whew. So step number 3, guys, step number 3, we're now going to work on eliminating unnecessary business goals. Remember in step 1 how we brainstormed a whole bunch of business goals? Okay, we're going to eliminate unnecessary business goals. How do we do that? So I want to remind you that everybody's different. You know, your brainstorming business paper, goals may be very reasonable for you to finish by the end of the year. However, and if it is, great. You don't have to eliminate anything per se. You might have to add on it because maybe you didn't pick out the right goals. And we'll talk about the mastermind strategy and how that actually helps with all that, but in a few short moments. It's important that you eliminate because many of us are very creative. We want to do many things. We want to do all the things. We tend, a lot of times, because you guys are very smart, you tend to know the right things to do, but then you want to do it all. That's not good because you feel overwhelmed. You feel you can't accomplish it all. It just, we're humans, right? Now, if you hire a whole bunch of people and, so it's very possible, but I can't do half the stuff I go out to do if I didn't have a team working for me. And FYI, the stuff that you see me accomplish, don't ever look at me and go, how come I'm not like that? When you're only working by yourself. I have 3 people working for me. Holy smokes, right? So it's important that we eliminate business goals based on what we know we could accomplish. And here's the thing, we're going to eliminate, and then we're also going to prioritize here. But, when you eliminate, don't worry. It's you're crossing it out with a pencil. Okay. It's not set in stone. You don't have to be like, Dad, you made me cross it out. I can never go back to it. No, it's written in pencil. You can still see what you wrote. So if you need to adjust some things, you can. Okay. So don't worry about that. And so what you eliminate, number 1, is things that don't align with your personal goals. Why is that important? We talked about how we're gonna, I show you how personal goals relates to all this. Because if Sally, right, is dying for, let's say one of her personal goals is to use her hands less in her job. Maybe she has a very labor intensive type of product. Okay. So she has a couple options. 1, hire out, so she doesn't have to do that work anymore. But if Sally's really set on working by herself, and a lot of times, by the way, you think that, but eventually you get used to the fact of hiring people. But let's just say she doesn't want to hire out. It's important that Sally starts to consider business goals that will move her away from the heavy labor. Product types that are heavy labor. Certainly changing your product line completely is a huge task to do. Researching product demand and creating it and new supplies and SEO and listings and posts. I know that's neither here nor there, but that's based on her personal goals. Now, Sally may not want to accomplish it this year, but she really has to slowly consider it. Okay, she may not be able to, by the end of the year, completely eliminate the hard labor. Okay, because you want to slowly transition, unless you have a rich uncle hanging out with you and you don't mind just scrapping your business, starting from scratch. Many of us don't want to do that. Many of us, if we're trying to transition to a new business model, to a new product type, we want to slowly wean off. We don't want to completely diminish our funds that we currently have, right? So it's important that you align with the business goals. Now, if Tom wants to retire by he's 40, okay, obviously you have to do some work financially and figure out what you need, et cetera, et cetera. But, more than likely Tom has to decide how could he increase his revenue, and those business goals should align with that. So you're supposed to eliminate things that don't align with your business goals. Okay. If you are trying to take 3 vacations a year as a personal goal, you shouldn't really create a business that makes you chained to your desk throughout the year. Another personal goal is spending time every Christmas holiday season with your family. Having business goals that doesn't include hiring somebody, or maybe some passive income streams to help you during the holiday season is not the right move. You see what I'm talking about? And if the personal goal is high on the priority list, you would want it to match. Okay. And again, slowly over time, it doesn't have to be by the end of the year. You can slowly transition. Okay. But it's important you consider that. Okay, guys? So some people also continue to write some of their personal goals. Abby says, personal goal, visit my sister in Hawaii, increase contributions to my kids' college fund. Love that. Pay off home. Jocelyn says, travel 2 times a year. Savings, $10,000 goal, working the work week and being off weekends. I do most work while kids are in school. Gotcha. Okay. So love these goals. Everybody's different, right? Some people do have similar things. So it's important that everybody that commented, or if you're not commenting because you want to keep your personal goals to yourself, that's fine. That when you start to eliminate some of the business goals, the first step is to eliminate the ones that don't match what you are looking for in your personal. Okay. So that's step number 1 to eliminating. Step number 2 is eliminate the ones that don't make money. I mean, that would have been obvious, right? Now, just for the record, be careful in eliminating ones that don't appear to make money. Some things are long-term strategies. For example, building your own website, Google SEO. Those are long-term strategies. You can't, it drives me crazy when people are like, I want to build a website. Etsy's going crazy. Really? Because you're not going to get money by tomorrow if you're building a website. 1, it takes a time to build a website, even if you have an engaged following. And 2, if you don't have an engaged following, it's going to take a hot minute to get that traffic, right? I talk about it in many other videos. So you have to consider, what does it make you money? So for example, sorry, my skin is a little itchy. Imagine you have written down as a business goal, I want to create a product line that's of XYZ. Well, how would you know if you have to cross that out, if it doesn't make money or not? Well, do the demand research. There's a lot that goes into that. And if you decide that, yeah, this is barely making me anything. And when I say making no money, I don't mean $0. There's barely anything out there that makes $0, but that's not worth your time. And we're not talking about long-term strategies. For example, if you're creating passive income streams, those take a lot of upfront work and you don't see the fruits of your labor for a while, right? I'm not talking about that. Talk about things that don't really correlate with money. For example, I'm gonna, one of my business goals is to post my Facebook links everywhere in Facebook groups. My thoughts on that. That doesn't make you money. Yeah, so you might get a sale or 2 because somebody luckily found your link. Don't give me that. Don't do that. That's not what makes you money. So I think for this, part of eliminating, you'll probably have some things eliminated, maybe not a lot, because I suspect that many of you will probably be putting things on there that will relate to money, whether directly or indirectly. Indirectly, like I said, is, maybe some things that you are doing for rebranding. Rebranding doesn't, you don't rebrand and all of a sudden money starts coming in. It doesn't work that way, but you could understand how rebranding indirectly relates to money. Meaning I cannot trace back this rebrand of this this page made me this much money. You can't trace it back. So, and that's okay. You don't have to eliminate those type of stuff. Some things are indirectly make you money. Okay. So after you cross off some things that don't relate with your personal goals, that don't really align, that you cross off things then that don't make you money, I want you to cross off things that you won't do. What does that mean? That means you know yourself better than anybody else. And that means, with all the other stuff that you have going on in your goal planning, brainstorming sheet, when you're looking at some other things compared to some others, you're like, I don't want to do that. Here's the thing. I do some things I don't want to do either, but I'm now way more disciplined than I used to be. Okay. So I could get things done. However, it's really important to notice the difference here. If I'm trying to implement something that I have no idea how to do, not only do I not know how to do it, completely, requires a whole different skill level that is not a very easy skill level, I'm not even motivated to do it either. And I have plenty of other things I want to work on. So that could help you say, you know what, I ain't going to work on this. So what is one of those examples? Okay. For me personally, I hate to say this because it's not an example that I would wish for you to cross out for yourself. But this just relates to me and my business, my experience, etc. I wanted to, and it's been on my list for several years now, and I keep crossing it out. I'm so disappointed, but I wish it was more of me, but there isn't. And I don't want to hire a huge team. It's not I don't want that. I know I could make a whole bunch more money if I did. I don't want that. I crossed out Instagram again off this year. Now, I tend to, when I do goal planning, I tend to goal plan, implement, and I tend to implement most of my goals done, fully running, up and running, way before the end of the year finishes. And a lot of times I do add on extra strategies at the end of the year. Okay. And a lot of times Instagram still doesn't make the cut. It's not to bash Instagram. Okay. Let me explain. You obviously see that I don't have an Instagram course. I don't teach Instagram. I know my way around Instagram. I know enough to kind of get some things moving. That's not enough to really implement it effectively. Why waste your time on a strategy if you can't implement it effectively, right? For those of you who are going to be putting SEO on your goal sheet, and again, we'll talk about really mapping them out in the next few steps and implementing, etc. For those of you who are putting goals on that you don't know how to do, what is your plan? What is your plan? Now, I can only speak for myself and my courses, but is your plan to get the SEO webinar? Is your plan to get the Amazon webinar? Is your plan to get the email list webinar to help you implement these strategies? If not, that's okay. Is your plan to research it and take a lot more time? Allow yourself more time to research SEO if you have time on your hands, What is your plan? If you have no plan and have no interest in having a real plan to execute it, you are wasting your time. Cross it out. Okay. So for example, for Instagram, for me, it's mostly because I have other goals that I know would be money makers. So again, it's all about the money thing. Remember I told you about the step 2 is cross out things that don't make money. It's not that Instagram won't make money. It's that I know how to implement the other goals I want to work on, the other strategies I know that will make money. So I'm only one person. I can only prioritize, right? That's why I crossed out Instagram. But I don't know how to do it in an effective way that would roll in the dough. I also have a big beef with Instagram, the algorithm changes. And of course, I learn about algorithm changes all the time, especially on online marketplaces such as Etsy, Amazon, etc. But I know there's an opportunity for sales there. I know that. I just don't have the interest to chase how the algorithm works. I like the leverage of email lists, for example. If I send one email out to a mass list that I've gained over time, obviously, and I don't have to keep posting, it's just, that's why I crossed it off. So, and I have no interest in going out and finding somebody that teaches it. Now, I don't mind buying courses. I've bought courses before. I bought courses on, I mentioned it before, on my design program to help me use it more efficiently. I've bought many courses. But I actually can't find a legit Instagram course for product-based sellers. And most of it's targeted toward informational-based sellers, such as if I were to use it for Handmade Mastermind. But, so it's important, guys, to cross off things that you have no interest in finding out how to implement, or you don't want to implement. Just be honest with yourself. And again, you're crossing it out in pencil if you must, so you don't have to oh, where's my box of tissues? I left the box of tissues here and my kids freaking use it. Why? I love to hear from my Facebook lives because you guys know I have an itchy nose. Anyway, so you're crossing out things that you have no interest. But if you're like, no, Dahlia, I do have an interest in doing this, but it's that I don't know how to, what is your plan? Do you have a plan? You don't have to write the plan down yet, but just know, do you have a plan? Does Dahlia sell a course on this? Do I plan on taking a little bit more time to research my own? Trial and error. You have to obviously give yourself more time if you did that, and that's fine. Okay, so good morning. So Jahira says, how do you prevent getting overwhelmed? Just for the record, this is a very hard question for me to answer because I do have a team working with me. But can I answer that a little bit later? Because it's going to tie into what I'm going to say a little later. Okay, I promise. All right, let's continue. So you've eliminated some of these goals that don't align with your personal goals, don't make money, and that you're not going to do because you don't know how to do it, or you really don't want to do it, right? My husband works with me, right? And he works part-time with me. And, there's some things he did not want to do. So I had to hire more people. And he was just, refusing. And it was just not in his passion to do it. So he doesn't. Okay. And if my husband was running the business, he would have to hire out somebody else to do it. Okay. Or work on other strategies. Okay, so let's move on. Now that we eliminated some unnecessary business goals, you still might have a lot. If you don't, that's great. You kind of narrowed it down. That's really good. If you still have a lot, it's okay. Prioritize, okay? You prioritize, guys, based on several different things. One of them being what has to happen toward the beginning, what's more relevant to happen toward the beginning of the year than toward the end. For example, if you're launching a Christmas holiday line, you don't need to do that first before you launch a Mother's Day line. Why? Because Mother's Day in the beginning of the year comes sooner, right? So you can prioritize first based on the calendar as number one. Biggest thing. So if you have some goals that really rely on the time of the year, those pop in first. Okay? And then you prioritize based on what makes you the most money. Seems really simple, right? So a lot of things could make you a lot of money, but the things that make you money, I hate to use the word quickly because that's kind of, that leverages what you have. So it's not quickly and easily, but it kind of is. I hate to use these kind of words because, I don't want it to seem like a, cakewalk. It just, that, for example, if you're selling on Etsy, remember Sally, I would tell her the next thing, besides all the goals, is to get on Amazon. Why? That leverages what she currently has. A product line, her photos, etc. And she's leveraging it on a platform that is humongous, right? On Amazon. And so that would make her money fairly quickly. And she's leveraging what she has. I wouldn't tell you, depending on what else you have on your goals, to create a whole new product line, even though it's high demand, because creating a whole new product line compared to going on Amazon requires a lot more, like different materials you have to use for your business, new photos, all this stuff. It would make more sense to prioritize something that's easier for you to implement that makes a lot of money. So both Amazon, getting on Amazon makes a lot of money, as well as this new high demand product line you want to work on. But which one would you do first? The Amazon one. Again, just to drive this point home, it's because it leverages what you currently have. It's easier to implement, and they both do a lot of money. Okay, that's how you prioritize that. You take the ones that make a lot of money, then you prioritize the long-term strategies right after that. So what does that mean? That means, if you have a strategy that you have to implement sooner than later, such as email list, so you could build that email list, such as Google SEO, because Google algorithm really loves that you didn't pop on the internet yesterday and then trying to make sales and trying to get traffic. It doesn't work that way, okay? The part of the algorithm cares that you've been on the web for a while. More about that in my Google SEO webinar. But, long-term strategies are important to work on sooner than later because they take a while to get going, right? And then last but not least is short-term strategies. Now, this is just a generalization of how you prioritize your goals. We're about to go into step 4 where you map out the goals, but this is generalization. If you are in my Mastermind strategy program, which again, enrollment opens next week, okay, you will get much more clarity on how you prioritize your goals. How is that? Well, it's simple. While you go through the course for mastering your goals, you will see that the last part of the goal process is to prioritize them, and that's simple. You literally post in the group in a specific post, and I prioritize them for you. Now, yes, you're more than welcome to prioritize them yourself. Some people actually do take a shot and try to prioritize them themselves. That's fantastic. But they usually want to get my my bit of advice to see what should go first. And I usually explain why. Okay. So if you need help with that, we do that as well. Okay. In the Mastermind strategy. Hold on a second. Let's map out your goals. How do you map out your goals? First, I like to do an overview. Perpetual calendar. Do you guys know what perpetual calendar is? It's like on one sheet or two sheets. I did it on 2 sheets. You have like the months of the year, January, February, March, April, May. And then along the side, you have 1 to 31. And then you have little boxes in between so you could actually fill out some things. Let me show you my perpetual calendar. It's a little messy, but it's what it is. Okay. So you will see Let me see if I could put my thing on. See that? This is the beginning of the year. A lot of going on, and I'm still filling out the rest of the year. But you can see what I filled out in here, and we'll talk about a little bit more of this in detail. But this is a perpetual calendar. Along the top, you'll see is January, February, March, April, May, and then 1 through 31. I do this so I could see everything at a glance, and then I could pop in, like Agnes was wondering, when do you list, you know, Mother's Day products? You could pop in certain things, and you see what days of the week you're doing it. Because I also have, like, it shows like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it has that along the edges, okay? And so when you map it out, like I mentioned, you're doing things based on relevancy throughout the year, okay? And it's important sometimes you do research when certain things start going up in engagement, so you're listing things by the right time, okay? I also map out, now listen, some things don't have to happen by a certain time. I just spread it out, because the reality is, depending on what you have going on day to day, like if you are filling orders majority of the day, you can't implement goals, you know, you can't implement like 5 goals a month. You just can't. It just, you're busy most of your time spending on, you know, fulfilling orders. So it would be helpful to really spread out your goals for yourself, because, and yes, you might get frustrated that you want to accomplish things much faster, but that's just the reality of it. Okay. Me, I pretty much always work on strategies because I have a team filling up my orders for me, etc. But you want to take the highest priorities, right? Remember how we prioritized a second ago? And you put it toward the beginning of the year, right? And then you take the thing, like I said, second priority, third priority, etc., and you start placing it. But again, you first put the things that are in relevancy order, okay? Because you need to get out, you know, your Valentine's Day line in the beginning of the year before you even consider rolling out to Amazon. Even though if Amazon was the highest priority on your list, Valentine's Day is bigger, because otherwise, if you do it later, it's not going to happen. Unless you're okay with it waiting till 2021 for you to start getting it rolling, then fine, you know? So, so you map out your goals, and I did it in pencil. Okay, let me show you one of the papers. I did it in pencil, but you see the red stuff? Those are the things that have to happen on certain dates, that have to. Yeah, much nicer. Yeah, much nicer. So, for example, my Facebook Lives, and then specific trainings we do in the Mastermind strategy, which I'll go over in a second. I also have listed in here when I check on my ad campaigns. Yes, I check on monthly at least. Okay, so you could also map those out as well. Okay, now take another sip here. Now that you've mapped out your goals, you kind of like, okay, let me plug and play here, plug and play. Now here it gets a little bit harder. Okay, here's the nitty gritty stuff. Last 2 steps, guys, okay? Then we'll wrap this up. Step number 5 is breaking your goals into tasks. So put away your perpetual calendar, now you mapped it out for the year, and say, okay, here are my final goals I'll be working on, business goals for the year. Goal number 1 is create a, build a website, right? Build a website, drive traffic to a website, whatever, right? So let's take that one first. How do you break your goals into tasks? Well, what does it take to accomplish that goal? I recommend doing this in Trello. Highly recommend. You can do it on a piece of paper first if you want, but moving them to Trello or any other project management system, it doesn't matter, because you need to know the exact steps it will take to accomplish effectively this goal. So, for example, a website. And I might be missing a few because I'm being put on the spot right now, but for example, you would say, buy your domain name, buy hosting, or decide which website platform you have to go on, right? You have Shopify, WordPress, blah, blah. Hire a designer, web designer if you need to. Create your homepage, the content for your homepage, about page, contact page, whatever. Create your privacy policy, return policy, blah, blah page, like the text and stuff. If you already have photos, you have to retake the photos. But if you're retaking photos for the website, retake your photos. So what are all the steps that you need to do? buy Dahlia's Google SEO webinar and implement Google SEO. Whatever all those steps are. Because when you're working day to day, because step number 6 is taking action each day. When you're working day to day, you say to yourself, okay, you should be at least, depending on what you're doing that day, if you're working by yourself, if you have a lot of orders to fill, you should be at least working on at least one thing. I prefer 3 things per day. Each action helps you get toward your goal. So today you may be working on determining which website platform you should be using. How do you do that? This is where people get stuck, because they're like, oh, I broke it down to tasks, and I'm supposed to do this task. I don't know how to do it. Well, for this example, you would say, okay, let me research which is the better one to be on for my product type. I have done a Facebook Live about it. You could post in groups and ask people about it. There's many ways that you could use a free trial and test it out, many ways, but that's how you attack it, okay? Now, fun fact, the Mastermind strategy, the coaching program, has already broken down all the major goals for us handmade entrepreneurs into tasks for you. That's exactly how it sounds, meaning all the major goals people want to work on. I have a free Trello account, a free Trello board that you have access to in the Mastering Your Goals course. And you go to it and you could just literally copy and paste over all of those actionable steps. So I've already broken down into tasks for you. Done. And you could add away or take away depending on what you've already accomplished from those tasks, but just saying. Now, step number 6, when I said to you to take action each day, if you're like stuck, you're like, yeah, but I don't know how to find the right hosting for my website or whatever. That's how the Mastermind Strategy Facebook group comes in, okay? Not only do we do weekly check-ins, not only do we do monthly coaching calls, okay? Not only do we do, new in 2020, by the way, critique Facebook Lives, and there's a whole bunch of other things that we do in there. We have exclusive trainings. You could also get help how to implement an actionable step, how to implement a certain task. So if you're like, Dahlia, I'm trying to decide between WordPress and Shopify. What do I do? I'm there, and not just myself, other members, but there to help you. It's literally like having a coaching session, but in a group setting, okay? That's what the Mastermind strategy is about. It takes you under my wing so I could help you. It's as if you were my sister, which if you know my sister, she tends to call me often. Say, how do I do this? What do I do with this? What is your opinion? It's like that. Okay, but in a group setting, okay? So another thing that you may be breaking down is, I am trying to, one of your tasks is I'm trying to improve the conversion rate of this listing. People keep seeing it, but they're not improving. By the way, fun fact, we have a conversion rate training exclusively in that group. There's a few more trainings that we've had it done in there. You can obviously utilize that, but if you're like, okay, I already utilized that training, I need help with this one, this is why I think. That's what the group is there for you for. It helps you with that step. It helps you with those actual steps that you need help with, okay? In much more detail than you could possibly imagine. So you have these 6 steps: brainstorming, personal goals, eliminate unnecessary business goals. So now you can have a final business goal list. Step 4 is mapping out your business goals. Step 5 is break down those goals into tasks. By the way, do this prior. Because if you wait as you're going throughout the year, you're never going to have time. You're never going to have time, and then you're going to find yourself, like Jahira said earlier, overwhelmed. So I want to wrap this up and kind of bring around this question, because I tend not to find myself overwhelmed much at all anymore, because I have already made things super crystal clear and easy. I'm not overwhelmed. Now, the rare times I am is because I don't know how to implement a strategy, newer strategies that I'm working on. It's happened, right? Because I'm always trying to improve, and I'm not trying to work on things I've always been working on, right? I'm trying to improve. But breaking down your goals into tasks so you know exactly what to accomplish, how to accomplish it, will help eliminate the feeling of overwhelm, okay? And like I said, the Mastermind strategy helps with that. And then step 6 is taking action each day. But if you're taking action and you don't know how to quite take action on it, that's what the group is meant to help you with, okay? So make sure I'm not missing any comments here. Susan says, my first goal, get my butt back into the Mastermind strategy course. Bought it last year, was too overwhelmed to properly use it. Some people are like that, right? That's fine. Some people have a lot going on, whether personally or business. Some people are just doing fantastic. They don't have a chance to use it. But And I'm gonna talk more about that in a second. But that's it, guys. That's how you goal plan. Now, this is all fine and dandy, but the mastermind strategy, again, open enrollment starts next week. It's only for 4 days. Will help you walk you through this process in a much more detail-oriented fashion. In fact, while open enrollment starts next week, okay, just for a few days, the week after, we will have a live full-on training for goal planning within the mastermind strategy. It's a complement to the Mastering Your Goals course that you get. So it's not meant to replace it, but a lot of people like the live factor. I can understand. So just so you know, when you get in, we'll be having a goal planning session next week. And you can rewatch a Facebook Live. It's absolutely fine. But what's fun also is that we have case studies, which means you get to get live help with your goals during that time. Okay? Obviously, tremendous value here. And that's not including the rest of the stuff we do throughout the year. Okay? So the mastermind strategy helps with this because it also includes the Mastering Your Goals course plus the exclusive coaching group, which is a Facebook group, right? It helps you because it includes a workbook that kind of goes over all these steps. It's a free workbook that comes with the course. It also includes, by the way, a financial goal planning section because, and here's the thing, I want you to at least at minimum have a financial goal plan, okay? Meaning I made $50,000 last year, I want to make $60,000 this year. Simple. Okay. But the Mastering Your Goals course helps you break down a financial goal because it helps you understand how could you reach that goal. Is it possible with the goals you've chosen? Okay. So, I'm going to take a sip here. It's important that you get set up, started with on the right foot, selecting the right goals in the right priority order. Okay, this is why I call it the mastermind strategy. It's my strategy. If you don't set yourself up for success, it's going to be a tough road. And so what I've created this program for is because I want people to start off on the right foot. Then I don't just leave them off to the wilderness. I want to continue nurturing that process because we will need help throughout the year. Okay, implementing these goals and how to check in with yourself and make sure that you're on the right track. If not, how do you fix that and all that stuff. So let's talk more about the mastermind strategy because the enrollment's next week. I mentioned that you get the Mastering Your Goals course. You also get access to the private Facebook coaching group. What does that include? Well, the Mastering Your Goals course is just that. It takes what we learned today, but in much more depth. So it helps you set up for success, period. Okay, love it. Obviously, I love it. I created it. But it is something that has helped many of my members who've joined because without the goal planning, some people, they said to me that they thought they were doing goal planning right. It's not about right or wrong. It's about being more effective. Okay? Now, the Mastermind Strategy Facebook coaching group has tons of valuable stuff going on in there. And this type of group allows you to go in and out when you want. I mean, you don't have to always be present. The more present you are, the better because you're learning, you're experiencing, you're getting trainings, etc. But there's no monthly fee to pay to be in here. You pay one price and that's it. And so if you are busy throughout the year, you don't have to feel bad that you're paying monthly and not utilizing it. Okay, you're in for life. Okay, in for life. So the few things that we go over in there is one, exclusive trainings. We've done exclusive trainings last year. Those are still available to those members as well as new members. Okay, those trainings, let me go over what they are. Those trainings are, one, how to improve your conversion rate. Love that one. Very intense training. I think it was like a week long, but it also includes case studies. All my trainings include case studies, which means I take the members' real life examples, whether they're a shop, their listings, whatever, and I go over it live. Okay. So let's see here. Let me pull it out. Another training, and I'll tell you about the training we're going to be doing in 2020 coming up very soon. I already released the schedule to the Mastermind strategy students. There's a schedule within the group that they know when things are happening throughout the year. We also have a quarterly check-in. And here's the thing with the quarterly check-in training. You don't need to use it, especially if you can easily see that you're way above trend. I still recommend people to use it so they understand why they're going above trend. When you understand why you're doing well, you're able to do more of that. It just helps you stay in control. But if you're too busy for that, you utilize it when things are not quite going the path you wanted to, because it helps you identify the issue and redirect, right? It helps you identify the issue and say, okay, how do I course correct? It walks you through step by step with that, okay? So again, we also have monthly coaching calls. Those are all available in the Facebook group, okay? We had a promoted listings training, but as you know, Etsy has changed that over. So now now I have a section where I talk about Etsy ads and my findings and my updates. I already did, I think, 1 or 2 updates. I'm doing a new one in the new year. We're already in the new year. I'm doing a new one very soon. So look out for that if you're already in the group or you're about to join the group next week. Okay. We also have a very popular fix your shop strategy training. What does that mean? This is a popular training you would use anytime throughout the year. When you see a decline, compared to the year prior, a lot of times, sometimes people have issues when they see, oh, Etsy's no longer finding me in search anymore, blah, blah. It's not that they're not showing you in search anymore. You have to identify the issue why. This training will help you identify the issue. Okay, so is it that you're no longer being indexed for certain keyword phrases? Is it you're no longer getting traffic through Pinterest? What is it? So after you identify the actual issue, you come up with a resolution. Okay, because if you're just like, oh, I'm getting less sales, the issue isn't less sales, it's less views and maybe your average order value decrease. You have to identify the issue. This fix your shop strategy training helps you with that. Okay. By the way, it's not just videos, it is Cliff Notes. So you could not just watch the video, you could review the notes. It's all printed for you, as well as case studies, as well as a Q&A. Okay. Whew. We also have a holiday planning prep guide in there. You can use this for any holiday, not just for Christmas season, but for any major uptick in sales, such as Mother's Day, Father's Day, whatever that you need help preparing for. Now, what's happening in the new year, which is this year? We have how to create a successful product line training happening exclusively in the group, and which is really great because they get first peek into this whole course I'll be creating in later in the year. Okay, and so that's fantastic. And then we're going to do how to increase your average order value, which is pretty much, that's really important if you don't know. It's leveraging what you currently have. If you currently have customers shopping with you, pay them to spend more. Okay. Another training that we have planned for the year is how to increase your profit margins. I don't have to explain why. That's really important. Okay. And then I have a few more things I might be doing, but I still like lingering. Okay. And again, like I mentioned, we do monthly coaching calls, group coaching calls. Really exciting. And we also are doing critiques. Okay. That currently is planned for every other month of the year. They might increase though. Okay. Whew. I feel like I'm out of breath here. So the Mastermind strategy, guys, is full of tons of value, period. There's no doubt about it. Okay. It's like having a coach on retainer. That's exactly what it is. And it's only going to be open for 4 days next week, and that's it. It shuts down. Enrollment shuts down. Now, just for the record, when it opens next year, it'll be much higher in price. As the group continues to be more valuable and increase in exclusive trainings only available to the group, it will increase in price. So this will be your last time, not to just join for the year, but the last time to ever get it at this price, period. Okay, because even when it opens up next year, it'll be much, much higher. Okay, so that's that. And of course, next week during the Facebook Live, it will kick off the open enrollment for the Mastermind strategy, which is very exciting, and all that fun stuff. Heather says, if you're considering joining the group and are up for the hard work, do it. You will love it. So much valuable info and almost immediate help, whether from Dahlia or somebody else in the group. Yes, I am very active in the group, so that's not an issue. I want to mention something that Heather just mentioned. She's like, if you're up for the hard work. This is not a plug and play solution. Yes, a lot of the work is done for you in the mastermind strategy. I do my best to provide the most value. So there's trainings, there's step-by-step, there's cliff notes. There's a lot of things that really help guide you, but you have to do the work. Okay. 7:45, love it. You have to do the work. And nobody ever says they're scared of hard work. Nobody ever says that. Nobody ever thinks they are. But the reality is sometimes we're not set up to actually get some certain things done, whether we're still trying to figure out how to hold ourselves accountable, how to be disciplined. You're still more than welcome to join the group because you'll still probably get benefit from some of the exclusive trainings, etc. But you really get the full impact when, yes, you utilize all the stuff that's meant for you. Obviously, if you have no problem with your conversion rate, you don't have to use a conversion rate training, right? So you could pick and choose, right? If you're a member who joins and needs a lot of help, you have a lot of pieces of the pie, and you're more than welcome to post and say, hey, I have a lot of issues. Help me prioritize. I see a lot of training. Which one should I start with, etc. That's what I'm there for. It's a coaching group. Okay. Thank you, Susan. Susan says, Dahlia, your courses are worth every penny, plus a lot more. Thank you for all you do. You're welcome. Laura says, my end of year summary, I was proud to see that my conversion rates were better than ever thanks to the videos. Dahlia, you and your advice. Thanks. You're welcome. I really work hard on these trainings. And again, they're exclusive to the Mastermind Strategy group. It's really meant to, so you know how you guys have these courses you could buy, right? This is meant to plug all the other holes that you need. Okay. With general business strategy, improving your conversion rates, average order value, this and that. There's a lot of things that we're going to go over, and we're going to continue to go over. Okay. Whew. So the link is up above. Obviously, you can't join at this moment. It opens up next week. Okay. Set your alarms, your calendars, however you want to do it, because it opens on Tuesday morning next week during the Facebook Live. It will close Friday at midnight. Period. 4 days. All right. Now, before I wrap this up, I want to show you guys the Mastermind Strategy Planner. Mastermind Planner. A lot of you have already purchased it. I could see that. But for those of you who are still wondering what's in it, show me, Dahlia, walk me through it. Just for the record, it does not come in spiral binded situation. I hacked my own planner. I chopped it and I put it in a disc bound. Okay. Many people have taken their planner, brought it to Staples, and they made it spiral bounded for $5. Okay. Do what you wish. So this is the cover I chose. Okay. You click the link above and you could also get the cover design you want. Just remember, there's 2 different versions. There's a Monday through Friday and Monday through Sunday. I'll walk you through it. So let's see if I could do this properly. Front cover, no big deal, right? You just write your name, information. Okay, so you have the 2020 dates. The first set is the post office holidays as well as business tax dates. Not only do I put it here as a general guide for me to look, I also put it in my weekly sections. You'll see in a second. The brainstorming, we just talked about brainstorming, right? And so you would put in your personal and then your business. Okay, I did mine on scrap paper first because I want to ruin my planner. And now I'm about to transfer them over. Okay, then you have, this is really important, guys, the personal goal breakdown and the business goal breakdown. So what this is, it's not breaking down your goals into tasks per se, because there's a lot of tasks you have to accomplish to get your goal done. I put in here the biggest hurdles that I have to accomplish regarding a certain goal. Okay, so goal XYZ, and then the biggest hurdles. Yes, there's a lot more tasks you have to accomplish to get it done, but the biggest hurdles here. So you know that ones you have to really focus on, either learning how to do or whatever. Okay. And you can do the same thing for the personal goal section. Okay. Hold on. We have the 2020 calendar at a glance, and then a fill-in calendar at a glance. Use it as you wish. Okay. I used to use this one instead of my perpetual calendar, but I found with the dates a little bit better for me to really map out when things are happening. This perpetual calendar is new to me this year. Literally, I just did it and I found it to be much more efficient and better. Okay. At the start of each month, you will have the month at a glance on 2 pages. Really simple, plenty of room to write. Okay. Then, forgive this because I already wrote in it, obviously, is the week. Okay, so you see Monday through Friday. If you have a Saturday, Sunday version, right, you'll have Saturday, Sunday on the bottom instead of a notes section. Okay, so you can see I really utilize it. And then now this is the week we're in right now. And it helps me plan out for things that I've not quite reached yet. So I know what I'm going to be doing on Friday, Thursday. I'm actually working on some inactive listings on Amazon. We set up listings. I have to do the SEO for them, you know. So I'm doing 20 a day. I'm breaking it up until I finish. And so those with how each week looks like. Really straightforward. Each of them have check boxes, so you can check it off. I love to check things off. Okay. And then at the end of each month, you will have a note section, if you choose to use it, and a monthly recap. Okay. The monthly recap goes over celebrating your personal wins. It's important to do that, guys, because it's important that we work on progress and recognize our progress. A lot of time we might feel like not failures, but maybe failures, for lack of a better phrase. It's important to focus on the small achievements you've done. And then you'll see over here the celebrate your business goals from this past month. Then I also have a section that says write down everything that is on your mind, everything. It's kind of lingering. And then you can either schedule it, delegate it, release it, not do it, or get it done. I always get it done at that moment when I find out it takes like 3 minutes or less. Done, right? So a lot of time we have a lot of things going on in our head. This is the place to use it. And a little note section down here as well. Okay, then begins the next month. And I told you, I already walked you through what the weeks look like. Okay, so that's really it. I mean, this planner, you can use any planner. Okay, obviously this is really affordable. I just like it. It's mine, and I like the little checkbox. It's simple enough that you could do a lot with it and adjust it to make it your own. Okay, so if you want to get one, the link is up above. Several covers to choose from. Or you could use any planner, whatever works for you, as long as you have a very structured way to achieving your goals. Okay. Excuse me. So Christy says, how did you get how did you get your planner like that in the spiral? So just for the record, it is, it is disc bound. So you see that it's like, so if you search on Amazon for disc bound rings, then you could get the rings. This is an inch. So you can see it's plenty. You could get 2 inches, 1.5 inches, whatever. And then you could get covers if you want. You could use my cover right there. I had this a long time ago. And then I just bought the hole puncher for disc bound planners. So you could also get that on Amazon, disc bound hole puncher you could search for. And I just literally chopped my book and punched holes. I only chopped the glue. So I just chopped very little. I put the glue. Christy, you should follow me on Instagram stories. I posted it several times how I did it. Okay. And I punched the holes and then I just popped them in. Easy. Or you could just take it to Staples and they will do it for you for like $5, I heard. Okay. Grisilla says, do you sell it on Amazon Europe? I'm in Italy. Yes, you just go to, I don't have the link for it, but if you go and search for 2020 Mastermind planners, you will find mine. And just for the record, there's some people that are creating Mastermind planners that is not me. How do you know it's me? Because the author is MPP Notebooks. MPP Notebooks. I put it in the comments so you know what author to look for, because the other ones are fakes. I don't know what that really means. I don't know how the insides look like of those planners, but mine's are, the author is by MPP Notebooks. Okay. It is printed and shipped by Amazon. I handle none of the order fulfillment. I just designed the book for you guys. Due to popular demand. When I show people what I created for myself, people wanted it. So I listed it like a year or two ago. Okay. And now I've been just creating it for you guys. Okay. But yes, you can get it anywhere, wherever you are, you know, and it's Prime. So if you have Prime, you get free shipping. Okay. So last but not least, guys, don't forget, if you want to get notifications for when I go on live in this group, click the link above. You'll see it. It says get notified when I go on live. Click the link. It'll lead you to my Facebook page Messenger and reply the word mastermind, or click get started, then reply the word mastermind. Okay. And then that will trigger and it will let you know that you've signed up and that you'll get notifications when I go on live pretty much every Tuesday, 9 a.m. Central. And that's really it. Okay, guys. So I'm gonna let you guys go. I hope you guys enjoyed today's Facebook Live. I really guys want you to listen. I know we don't have a lot of time, okay? Meaning we're busy throughout the week. We're working. Do not forget to goal plan, even if that means while you're sitting there watching TV tonight, because you know you have a minute. It just depends how you want to spend your time. Take a piece of paper. You could do it on scrap, guys. You could do everything I taught you today on scrap. It doesn't have to be perfect. Are we ever perfect when we first goal plan? No. Okay, even I told you this year, I even refined it a little bit more and did my mapping out on a perpetual calendar. I should never do a perpetual calendar. I should do it differently. Okay, this has helped me tremendously. Now, just for the record, if you're joining me in the Mastermind strategy, because the enrollment opens next week, the week after we're doing live Facebook goal planning. Yes, you don't have to join because I have a course for you guys that you get when you enroll in the Mastermind strategy, but a lot of people like the live factor. So we're going to do some live goal planning the week after in the group. And we'll be going over in detail how I literally put in all of this stuff, okay, in my planner, and I'll be giving you many more tips regarding it. I'll be going over in detail because there's some things I want my members to do and plan throughout the week, and certain things that I want you to pre-fill in your planner. Again, whether you use mine or another planner, it's okay. But the point of this Facebook Live is to complement the Mastering Your Goals course, but it's all in live action. Okay, really excited about that, guys. If you're already in the Mastermind strategy or you're going to join it next week, just so you know, all of the Facebook trainings, the critiques, the coaching calls, all of that is already planned throughout the year. That's new this year. And I have a calendar schedule within the group, and you're able to access it and see what's planned when. Okay.